this morning.
Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly Dungeon Master today. Well, not technically a Dungeon Master. I'm going to be whatever the Star Trek equivalent of a Dungeon Master is. So I guess a corridor commander? I don't know. With me today, we are playing through speaking of Star Trek, we're playing Modiphius's very cool Star Trek Adventures RPG, and we are playing through the adventures from the starter set. Their mini campaign is called A Star Beyond Stars. If you are intent on playing the contents of the starter box set, this episode will contain spoilers. So if you do want to play that through, wait until you play it and then come back and see what you can see. If you're not concerned about spoilers, then welcome. And speaking of Star Beyond Stars, the stars of this particular campaign are with me right now. So good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's go through and we'll do introductions of who you are and who you're playing. So first up is James.
Right, I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Zhang Lian, the con officer of the ship. Unfortunately unsuccessful with my shuttle landing last week, but I'm aiming for better things this time. And I'm particularly famous for being the officer who goes around spaceships carrying my desk.
Yes. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Lieutenant Junior Grade Han Ordell, and he is the engineer.
And he is a Trill, isn't he?
Oh yes, he's a Trill.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right.
Next up is Arlen Walker.
Hi, I'm Arlen. I'm playing Lieutenant Teprell, the Vulcan medical officer of the Magellan.
And joining us for the first time, too, is Sean.
Greetings. Sean Phelan here, running Lieutenant Commander Quellis Zaroth. And the H is pronounced, and I'll be reminding all players of that constantly. It was determined, even though we were probably just assume I was there the whole time, I'm also thinking that, security needed to be reinforced after last session. So I'm playing the chief of security.
Nice.
And I'm drinking coffee. I know you guys sometimes, once in a while, talk about.
Yeah. It's early at the time of recording. It's like late morning, early afternoon here. So yeah, I'm rocking some coffee as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to I thought would be neat to start things off this session, guys, and then we'll jump into the scene, is to talk about the values that your characters have, because this particular game has a mechanic where you have a meta currency called determination that we saw you guys use last session, or someone used one last session, I think. And the way that you use determination is generally through one of your values. You have to link it up to something that your character cares about. And in addition, that's actually one of the ways you can generate more values as well. So, and this is something that I was talking before we went live, that it's not something that's part of the of this particular adventure. I don't think values really come up in it. But because determination is such a useful resource, what you guys can do is, if you have a value that would negatively affect your current task, you can take one complication, so it makes it one difficulty harder, and get yourself a determination for that. So it's I think it's a really clever mechanic, because it really does encourage you to think about ways that your character's personality. In the same way that like games with disadvantages like GURPS or Savage Worlds or whatnot, like that helps kind of flesh out the things that make your character shitty, to a degree, or more complicated. Those are the things I think that really add depth to your character, and I like that they gamify that kind of disadvantage.
Does it only apply to making a roll, or can we say, like, because I am X value, I'm going to do thing that is not optimal? And
yeah, if it's something that like if you're doing something that is your value that will result in what would effectively be a complication, because a complication could be raising the difficulty by 1, or it could be a trait, like a negative trait, something that, because you may recall that right now you guys have a couple traits that are affecting the ship. There's the subspace interference, there's the low lighting, and there's no power.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so that's absolutely one of the things you could do is you could say like, you know, I mean, say if you're playing a berserker character and the rest of the party is cautiously making their way through a keep and you decide to go heedlessly of danger running forward, then yeah, I'd probably,
I don't know where that example came from, but it seems strangely familiar.
Top of my head. So with that in mind, let's maybe talk about the things that your characters value then. And the reason I also wanted to emphasize this as well is that for DMs, it's good to keep track of that stuff because if you've got new players, it's helpful to have those values in front of you so you can think of what ways to present challenges for your characters to give them those opportunities to get those the determination back.
Give it to me one more time. You get it back by how?
So if you take, well, let's use yours as an example. We're going to go reverse of the way of the introduction. So let's look at Lieutenant Commander Zarath. Is that it?
Yeah, with the H. Yes.
So Zahrath.
It's just meant to cause problems. That's all. There's really no accuracy to it whatsoever. It's
Okay.
just...
So let's take a look at Zarath's value. So what do you have listed there as her values?
Lead by example, fortune favors the bold, rash and reckless, and finally, proud daughter of Andorra.
Okay. Andoria, I think. I may have put a typo in there.
Yep.
So the way that you can think of is just basically there are positive ways to spin that and there's negative ways to spin that, right? Like if she's rash and reckless, she may get like at a Klingon diplomatic mission. She may be goaded into a foolish action. However, rash and reckless may also be, I'm gonna fucking jump into danger, and get a shot off before they can tell.
Yeah.
So like, and that's the way that each of your, and then lead by example, same thing too. I could see where that could be a positive to try and like rally people, or it could be a negative of I'm the tip of the spear.
And that lets you trigger determination, but is there anything else? Did you say
no, that's to generate. If it's a negative consequence, that gives you determination.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, yes. It's a really clever bit of design.
Cool,
5 rings,
cool.
The new 5 rings does something like that too.
Nice.
Okay, so that's so I mean that gives us an idea of what Zarath is like. Another thing I'll mention as well, just because for you guys, like if we do end up playing this longer, one cool thing with the experience points in this is I said last session that your character doesn't really advance in terms of raw numbers. That's not right. You do, it takes a long time, and before you do that, what you end up doing is shifting numbers back and forth or getting new values. Like you can actually do something called challenging a value, and what that does is you gain 1 determination, but then you cross it out and you pick a new value at the end of it. This is kind of the like, the spotlight episodes of the Star Trek series where like so-and-so learned something and a capital L, capital S, right? So if you want to, if the, say, Zarath, her thing is rash and reckless. Let's say you want to challenge that. You can't think of a way to get a negative thing, but you're just going to say, here's how this plays into this. I'm getting my point of determination that I can use now. And then at the end of that, let's say it's in that, she uses that during that, what do you call it? She uses that during that Klingon diplomatic thing. And what was rash and reckless turns out like it works out in the end, but it may have caused some problems as well. You could say, when you're rewriting the new value, you could say, strength expressed at the right time or something like that, or whatever, like something that reflects the evolution of the character. And that's kind of, I think that's really interesting too, particularly for, there's so many games where you come in with these like fully fleshed, like this is my elaborate backstory stuff. And for games that play with these types of things with values, it does make it, when there's a mechanical benefit for role-playing your character, it's very, very cool that this game reflects that the character that you designed at home is not necessarily the person you're playing at the table. And it's cool that it gives you a chance to mechanically shift those things. That's another interesting bit of gameplay. So that is Zarath's values. Next up is T'Prell. What are T'Prell's values?
T'Prell's values are to seek out new life. Precision and diligence are the Doctor's primary tools, Hesitation is as bad as inaction, and the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Nice. That is the doctrine of Kolinar, isn't it?
I don't know
Or
Star
it's not,
Trek.
that's not Kolinar, but it's, oh god, what do they call it? There's a name for it in Vulcan. Kolinar is the way without what do you call it?
That's some impressive geekery right there, Kevin, that you're laying on. I like that.
I've
never even heard of this. I mean, I'm not.
Kolinar is the discipline. It's the Vulcan discipline of like of being without, you know, of suppression of emotion. But I can't remember. There's a name for that as well too. Needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. I'll have to check when we take our break.
You can get back to us on that.
Yeah. And next up is how about Lieutenant Dell?
Okay, Lieutenant Dell's values are test everything to its limits. 4 lifetimes of adventure. Always pad your estimates. And love your ship like you would love your child.
Nice.
Wow.
So the 4 lifetimes of adventure thing plays into his species because he is a Trill, which means that he is a humanoid character who is also bonded to kind of like a slug-like symbiote that has lived many lifetimes before in other hosts. And we saw that come up last session when he had that recollection, tapped into an old memory, and and then use that for the small unit tactics, right?
That's sweet.
It's such an interesting idea. The whole
Totally. Oh,
Trill
totally.
idea.
Yeah. Remind me, telling you to break. There's a similar mechanic in the new Vampire the Masquerade game too. That's pretty neat. But I'll deal with that offline. That doesn't matter for Star Trek. And last but not least, how about Lieutenant Zhang?
Zhang, its values are to fly the ship, know the ship, the drive for discovery, always something to learn, and propulsion is a science, navigation is an art.
Love it. Cool. Okay, so then let's bear those in mind, guys, as we go through. Those are ways you can, if you've got something that can tap into your for you to spend your determination, you can do that. If you've got a way to that it might cause a fun complication, and it doesn't necessarily mean for you. I'm fine with you guys causing complications for each other as a result of that as well. I mean, I don't want it to degenerate into like a McHale's Navy style like crew of buffoons, you know. But I mean, if there are things like that inter-party tension is part of the fun in in Star Trek anyway. So I think that is not inappropriate for the game. All right. So last we left our session, and what we're going to do for the Lieutenant Commander Zarath was not here last time, but we're going to assume that she was here the entire time. So she's been here, and she's been sort of watching your flank for the last little bit. You guys had exchanged some disruptor fire with Romulans on this. What do you remember happening last? Let's maybe back up a little further. What do you remember happening last session, guys?
Well,
I'm immune to this question, so.
So we had kind of a couple stages of things that went on. So the first one, we were on the Magellan and found out that there was a distress signal coming, and we had to get to this ship that we couldn't transport over to, and our comm badges weren't going to be operative on. So we took a shuttle over. Lieutenant Commander Zhang took care of that for us with a little bit of a hiccup, but that was all right. The shuttle bay, the docking bay, the like interior hangar on the ship opened up for us as we got close. So we landed in there. We had some weird stuff going on with one of the control panels, the computer. We tried to access it, and it told us to go to astronavigation.
Stellar cartography.
Stellar cartography. I was close.
Yeah, it's honestly, like, if you're not a Star Trek fan, like, there's so much stuff that is just genuine technobabble that shows up one time, and then there's technobabble that shows up as a routine part of canon.
Okay.
Stellar cartography is unfortunately one of the latter. So
okay. Well, I'll remember it for next time.
Excellent.
So then we figured out how to use the shuttle's power to jury rig up a setup so that we could use its power to open up the doors in the hangar. And then we spent some momentum to keep those doors open so that we could retreat back to the shuttle if we need to. Then we were going through the hallways and found some dead bodies of a whole bunch of different Starfleet kind of regular Starfleet people and then Starfleet officers, including the captain and the chief of security and somebody else who's important.
I think that was 2 sets as well too, because you
yeah,
found
it was in
one group-
2 different groups. We found one group that was like 7 that were all kind of red shirty people, and then one that was officers that was 3 of them.
So one thing I fucked up last time too, and as soon as I said it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's wrong in canon. So you can tell the department differences. I don't remember what they are right now, and I didn't look it up, but there's a way of telling from the way, like, it's either the placement of the pins or the nature of the pins or something like that.
Yeah.
But you can tell,
That's
like, whether someone is with a gold shirt is security or whether they're part of engineering.
Yeah, doesn't bother me.
Yeah. The canon accuracy was fucking eating at me.
So then we were advancing forward kind of cautiously and found some Romulans who we started shooting first and asking questions later and drove them off with our superior firepower.
Yes.
And now we are going to have to decide what we are going to do about this Romulan party and what we are going to do to try to rescue the ship and whatever crew remains.
And I think all of you guys kind of likely know what a Romulan looks like, but just in case, this is what a Romulan looks like. A humanoid with kind of a pronounced, forehead ridge, angular eyebrows, and kind of sharply pointed ears, similar to Vulcans, but a different subspecies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys, you did tag some of the Romulans in the hallway. You guys have had a chance to, I think, Zarath, what we'll say is you were sort of, keeping an eye back. I think there's probably something that that distracted you. You can kind of picture the group is running along. The last person in line is like, "What's that?" And kind of walks over and inspects something. And then you start hearing this, the exchange of phaser and disruptor fire, and you come running into the room here. And no one got hit last turn, right? Or last session?
Nope.
I mean, I'm thinking that, this is what it's all about. I mean, he hears the fire and he's coming down here ready to get a piece. And he's got his gun drawn and flies in there just to see it end. And like, oh, I can't believe I missed this. This is it. This is what I do. You can't be serious with this. All right. Well, good job. Good job.
Okay, so you come racing in, and let's pick up the scene right there, guys. So he comes in, and what do you guys say?
There's Romulans on board.
And they've
Are you
slaughtered
sure?
the crew.
So what was that?
managed to-
Gone down this. They've escaped down that corridor.
Yeah, we managed to chase them off, but
Hmm.
I don't know what they're up to.
Hard to imagine they're not responsible for some of this nonsense we found aboard ship, these irregularities.
I concur.
Should we give pursuit? What do you think? I'm
Yes.
tempted.
Let's chase them. Are they down there engineering?
And as Lieutenant Zarath says that, he's pressing forward.
Okay, so stop about right where you are.
Okay.
I'm going to spend some. It's not called heat; it's called
Threat.
Threat. There we go. I was reading Infinity yesterday, so I'm like, too many of these things. Oh, so one thing I fucked up last time. So in Star Trek Adventures, unlike the other Momentum game or the other 2D20 games, it's a growing of amount.
Yeah, I
for
saw
each
that
extra
after
momentum.
we finished. That each extra die you buy costs more momentum.
Yeah.
So it's
So it's
harder
not-
to build up those big pools.
Yeah. So, okay. So what happens, guys, is you start making your way down, and it seems that your Romulan friends may have got reinforcements because they come around, or they come down. Yeah, 2 of them were down. Let's get them out of there. And I am spending. Let's see here. 2. Boom. There they are. I am spending. Momentum to seize the initiative, or threat to seize the initiative here. So there are 4 of them that come down, all armed with disruptor rifles.
Oh,
so guys,
Kevin's not screwing around
Does
anymore.
this count as the first round of a new combat, or is this the same combat?
New combat.
Okay.
New combat. So yeah, we're starting at the top of the round, and I'm gonna steal the first round of initiative. And I think you guys have nothing in the momentum pool, so you can do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Let's see. So then for these guys, what do I need? I got my conflict reference thing here. So range is control plus security. Okay. And I will, yeah, I'll buy one more extra dice. Okay, here we go, guys. And first shot goes down. We've got 1, 2, 3 successes. Okay. So then difficulty of 1. So I got 1 net success. On no, none. So I hit I guess Zarath. You're the one right at the front there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just getting involved in the game. Let's go, huh?
This is your welcome to the game.
This is what they're all like.
All right, here we go.
I don't know if what I did was fortune favors the bold or rash and reckless, but let's go.
All right, so I got 3. Oh boy, so that is 6 points of damage that you're hit with. Now, do you have any resistance?
Okay, let's see here.
Resistance is 0.
Mine?
Oh my. Okay, so because of Jeepers, because you took 6 points, you took more than 5.
Oh,
5 or more.
Yeah, a real.
Yeah, that's bad. So what you might want to do is
just kill my character?
No.
Boy, Kevin body count Madison. Holy smokes.
Really. What you can do is you can spend instant momentum. So you could give me where is it here?
Yes.
You can give me what's called.
So explain to me, since I'm a bit of a newbie here. So resistance, that's on my character sheet?
Yeah, like if you had like say Klingon body armor on, or you were whatever, like you could have something that would resist. If you take cover as well too, you get what do you call it? You get you roll basically the whatever they're called, the D6s, and then you get what do you call it? You get to reduce the damage by each one you roll.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, so then so you would take 6 points of stress, but you can spend 2 momentum or suffer a complication to avoid the injury. This is only once per scene you can do this. So what you can do is you can give me 2 points, because just like in the other 2d20 games, you can choose to give me basically like threat. So at my resource, my equivalent of momentum, to avoid yourself taking an injury. If you take an injury, you go down.
Gotcha. Let me see here. I'm trying to think of if there's an interesting complication I can.
So I'll give you a suggestion for complication. Is that if you're the complication will be that you basically have to either throw yourself to the ground or throw yourself behind really insufficient cover. And it'll just be for you to be able to safely return fire. It's going to bump the difficulty of your tasks by 1 until you reposition yourself.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So great. Okay. So then you don't take any, you take 6 points of stress, but you do not take an injury.
6 points. All right.
Okay. And all right. So then you maybe like throw yourself behind this tiny little desk here that has like a, it's one of those placeholders that has this is a hallway. I guess it's a little like wheelie cabinet.
Right.
Okay.
It's probably like, like a plywood kind of, cheap, the cheap variety.
It's a prop.
It's a prop. Right. Exactly.
All right. I'm just going to mark these dudes as I take their turns with them. Okay. Go ahead. Now, one of you guys gets to go. Sorry about that. Who's feeling lucky?
I think Zarath is just trying to get his act together, so someone else should go.
So what I'm wondering is there a way? So one of the momentum spins is to create a complication. I'm wondering, that seems like the mechanic that we would use for modeling covering fire, right?
Yep.
Is that I could be shooting at them to make it harder. How would I actually roll that?
So you would, it's just like your, well, it depends on what you're using. Like, what are you
So
intending to do?
I'm just using my phaser and basically kind of firing wildly in the direction of them to try to force them to take cover or something like that, right?
Yeah. So like the way that you would do it is this is very much like this Fantasy Flight Star Wars stuff where it's kind of an oracular thing. Like that's cool that you've got that in mind, but if you don't generate any momentum, you're just going to be doing a normal attack.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
let's
that's fine.
yeah. So let's like although hold on, you could also try and do something like if you well, you're a medical officer, so you don't really know. Like, if you were, say, an engineer, you're like, I know that the turbo shafts that are next to these guys over here, those things have some kind of, there's some kind of mechanism inside that makes the doors go whoosh, 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 whoosh. I want that to spray out.
Although I do have defensive tactics, so I know the value of establishing a base of fire when you've gotten into a firefight that you don't want to be in.
Yeah, I'll buy that. Yeah. So that means you can, you're rolling with your focus.
Okay.
Okay. And so that would be then control and security, I think. Is that right?
Yep. Control and security.
Here we go. Do you want to buy any dice beforehand?
I probably ought to buy at least one. So why don't I give you one threat for one extra?
Love it. Every time I run this game, it makes me miss playing Conan because I get to do that Doom thing every time you guys give me Doom.
You got
only one success and a complication.
Oh no. Okay, so I think what happens is so you try to fire, and for one thing, you're not successful. So you don't hit. And you picture the disruptor fire is coming down, those yellow beams, or maybe it's green with the Romulans, but it's coming down the hallway, and you think like, covering fire, and you shoot, and I'm not going to impose because it cost me. I think it cost me 2 to buy a complication. Conflict momentum spends. Create an obstacle. Yeah, it is 2. I'm going to take it just as more heat, or heat, more threat. But what it is basically you've Lieutenant Commander Zarath. Now there's a shot that goes relatively close to where you are.
Well, and that's probably so. I started shooting without taking careful aim or anything like that. And so I have just kind of increased the chaos of the situation more than actually contributing to.
Yeah.
But I have a special ability that allows us to ignore the momentum cost to retain initiative for one person in the first round. So Lieutenant Commander Zhang or Lieutenant Dell, you could take an action right now for free.
Well, Zarath hasn't gone either.
So, and Zarath hasn't gone either.
Anybody. So if you guys want to take the next cue, because it does go back and forth normally, who would like to go next?
I think Zarath should act because
for safety, right?
Yeah, he's in more imminent danger than.
So my current situation makes it easier for them to hit me, right, Kevin? That was the
harder for you to hit. It's
harder for me to fire.
Increases difficulty. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps what if I reposition forward towards the door, move like that?
Yeah. So then what? So each round you guys have one minor action, and then there's like a standard action. So your minor action, you get 1 for free, and then you can give me momentum, or you can take from the momentum pool if there's stuff in the momentum pool to get extra actions.
So my minor action might be to reposition, and I'll go near the door.
Okay.
And then how about drawing? Oh, well, I mean, is it reasonable to say I would have my weapon drawn since I came in thinking there was going to be?
Yes, action? Absolutely. Yeah. And if you wanted to say point to one of your values to support that, I mean, rash and reckless suggests that that guy or girl goes in guns blazing, right?
Yep. And then I'm going to return fire on that Romulan upstart.
Okay. Excellent call.
Let's see. Is this it'd probably be security, right?
Security, yes. Oh, so to shoot?
Shoot.
So to shoot will be security and what do you call it? Control.
Control. Okay.
Yeah, like the broad. So the attributes here is basically like controls if you're trying to manipulate something. Fitness is if you're applying physical effort. Presence is your charm and charisma kind of stuff. Daring is if you are. It's like willpower and stuff like that. Insight is if you're trying to pick up social cues, and reason is if you're relying on your education or natural smarts.
So do you think my focus of squad tactics would apply here?
Yes, absolutely. That's a good example. So the way that, or good opportunity to talk about this, the way that the focuses work is when normally, if you roll the combination of your attribute and your discipline, if you roll that number or lower, you get 1 success. And then if you roll a nat 1, you get 2 successes. If you have a focus that applies, what that does then is it increases that like crit range up to the value of the discipline. So it gives you a better chance of getting that. So yeah, that's a great, I'm totally on board with that.
Nice. So cool. Yeah. So I, knowing I'm in trouble behind my plywood prop, I throw myself forward against the door.
Okay.
And then peek around and fire off a shot.
Now let me give, sorry to interrupt one more time here. Let me give you a quick one more suggestion here. So what you can also do is, I mentioned that you have multiple minor actions. One of the minor actions you can do is to take cover. And taking cover is, where is it here? Combat tasks. Well, maybe it doesn't cost. Maybe I'm thinking of Star Wars. Prone, interact.
Aim is a minor action, isn't it?
Aim is a minor action, which allows you to re-roll 1d20 out of the ones that you rolled.
And I'm sorry, how many minor actions do you get again?
You get 1, and then you can get extra ones. If you give me either take from the momentum pool or you give me threat. And
my movement was spending my freebie. Right?
Yes. Well, actually, you already need 1 to stand. Okay, and then you need a second minor action to get over there. So you'll need to give me a momentum for that.
Yep. Okay. And we're thinking that the take cover. That's not the way that works. Then.
No. So I'm gonna say that you'll have cover for now, and then I'm gonna look it up while you're making your dice roll.
Very good. And I am going to let's see. I guess I'm gonna give you I'll give you the 1 threat as well. I think to buy 1 die.
Yep.
Which feeds into one of my talents as well that we'll discuss if needed. But all right, so okay, since this is my first one here, I automatically get 2 dice, and now I'm clicking on 3, right? Because I purchased 1.
That's right. Yep.
Okay, and
you make sure you've got use focus selected.
Yep, I got that, and that's it, right? I'm good.
Yeah, here we go. Big money.
Big money.
Ooh, 2.
I'll take
All right,
it.
so 2 successes is enough to hit these guys.
Okay.
Now, so the range is a difficulty of 2. Yeah, 2 flat. That's pretty cool. That's a change from the other 2d20s where you got like an optimum range, and then you count up and down. Okay, so then your damage. Go ahead and click on your whatever type of phaser it is that you've got.
All right, I got a type 2, I think. Yeah, is that even right?
Nice.
That seems like too much. Is that right?
So let's see here. That's 2
phaser type 2 with a 7 at the looks like a 7 damage.
Wow, nice. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is what I count, because remember you count 1 for each of the Starfleet or Federation symbols too. Those count as 1 plus an effect. Okay. So let's talk about what the effects are. So you'll see on your phaser. Well, unfortunately, yours doesn't have anything special right now.
Yeah.
So what does charge mean? Do we know if that's a?
That's, you can charge it up.
That's
not like charging into battle.
Got it.
Yeah. So 2. Trying to figure out how this roll works. What are the zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, what's going on here? So I'm trying to make sense of this damage roll here. Can you guys
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Because it looks like it's more than let's see here.
I mean, if you remove the zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, because it's 7 damage.
Right. Should have been 7 dice, right?
Yeah, it should have been 7 dice. That's right. Which looks like it was rolled. I'm just trying to figure out how the heck what things we're ignoring here. Whether we're ignoring the
the zeros are a mystery, right?
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I can't. Do you guys have any idea what we're looking at here?
That Star Trek symbol is probably a die, right? That's the effects. You're rolling,
that's the effect for sure. So
yeah, you're rolling 5 or 6 for those, right? And then 1 or 2 is a die. The thing is, though, there's 8 of those, which is
so all weapons gain additional die to their damage rating equal to the security discipline of their character.
There we go. There we go. That makes sense. Okay,
so that's why you get a lot of damage die on that shot because you're the security officer.
I've got 4 in my security, so I added 4 then. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That makes sense then.
That makes a lot of sense. Good job.
Okay.
Well, it's hidden away in a paragraph, but
yeah, so that's right too, because my weapon has a 7 rating, and then I have forward security, so I should have rolled 11 dice, and if you count everything there, it's 11.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, so I count 10 from your roll plus 3 effects or 4 effects. So it's not like the reason the effects would be useful is like the disruptors that the guys are using on you, they have a trait called vicious. And what that means is that each one of the effect dice that's or effects that's rolled there, that also counts as another point of damage. So effectively the 2 does 2 points of damage for every 2 rolled, and the effect would also do 2 points. Because an effect does 1 point of damage plus whatever the effect is.
Yep.
Okay. So 10. Holy shit. All right.
Yeah, take that.
And
looks around the door, and I'm aiming for the guy that aimed at me.
Nice. Okay. He is going to. So he is. Wait, is 10 enough to take him down altogether?
Pew pew.
Not enough to say. Okay, so I'm going to spend some moment or some threat. So he likewise. You tag him, but he staggers forward and is not down yet. No doubt there's wearing some kind of Romulan star navy armor of some kind. Okay, so that's 2 of you guys, and let's do this. We used to do this in Shadow of the Demon Lord. When you take your turn, click on your token and then just click on like the red dot or something like that. Just so we know. I mean, I think with this small of a crew we'll know, but that way just an easy way of tracking who's doing what. Okay, now we got some next up is a Romulan. Okay, so boy, these guys do not care for what is going on here. This one liked your idea there to prowl, and it's going to try and blast and create a complication for you guys. Make it harder for you guys to focus on them. So
logical.
Seems logical, exactly. So I got 1, 2. There's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. So I got enough to shoot you, to prowl, and what happens is the phaser disruptor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my goodness. Let's see what happens here. I just rolled a crap ton of effects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Who are they shooting?
Me.
Yeah. Okay, so you take let's see here. That is 10 stress. Do you want to give me 2 momentum or 2 threat to avoid injury?
Seems like it would be bad form to lose our medic in the first round of combat.
Yeah.
So yes, why don't I give you some threat species?
All right, and then you take 10 stress. Good golly. Now give me a second. I just want to double check one thing here.
So just to talk a little bit about the mechanics, the stress represents your character's like inability to function, but not actually getting like wounded.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
for instance, if I filled up with stress, it would be more reasonable for me to like run away screaming and try to get back to the shuttle than to fall over unconscious. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's correct. So like you will lose all your stress at the end of the scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you get a chance to catch your breath. Okay. So then, there's that shot on you. Man, combat is deadly in this. Holy smokes. Okay. Then, one of you guys gets to go. It's Del or Zhang.
Well, I'll go then. Can I aim and shoot the guy who just shot to Pearl?
Absolutely.
And shout, "You swine!"
Nice. That means you get to re-roll one of your D20. Now, do you want to give me any threat?
Yeah, better do that. Add to your pile.
Add 2?
Yeah, go on.
Done.
So that's 4 dice.
Yeah.
4 on the task roll. What's the complication? 3?
No complication.
No complication range. Okay.
Yeah, it should be so. It's just a 20. Okay, and then
okay.
is it asking you for a modifier? Maybe. Nope. Hey, nice. So you got one momentum from that effect. So what you could do is you could leave that in the momentum pool for next time. You could use that to with my conflict momentum spends. You do extra damage with it. Each momentum spent gives +1 damage. You could use it to penetrate if it was something that had a lot of armor. You could spend it. Oh, interesting. You can spend it to regain a point of lost stress.
Or so
can I give that to someone else?
You can dump it into the pool, and then someone else could use that to regain stress on their turn.
Or another suggestion is that after you roll damage, you can choose to re-roll any number of your damage dice. So you could try to set up for like a really big hit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go with that. Let's put it in the pool for the moment.
Okay.
And I guess that's my damage, right? Phaser type 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's your security?
2.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay, so then
did you?
Oh, that's not 1, 2, 3,
1,
4,
2,
5,
3,
6.
4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Is that right? What's the phaser type 1 do?
Phaser type 1, I have it marked as 5.
Oh, you have it as 5. It's showing as it's a type 2.
Oh, you know what,
1.
guys? That already the phaser the character sheets may already include that the bonus from your security ratings.
Yeah, it does. So I'm sure it shows as a 4 on my.
Let me double check something here. So I think because this is from a starter set, it may already do that math for you. So let me see what the actual. Check
my damage included security.
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, these numbers seem really fucking high. Like,
Your
I mean, this seems like
your phaser shows 4 damage. James.
Yep.
What's your
4 and then 2 security, so 6. So that looks right.
Right, but what I'm wondering is whether
we're wondering if the number that's listed on the character sheet, that 4 that you've got, I've got a 5 and I have 3 security. So I think that 5 that I've got listed on my character sheet is including.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that because these are starter introductory character sheets.
Yeah, I'm looking for the rule book. Phaser type 1, yeah. Phaser type 1 is only 2 damage.
There we go. That makes a lot more sense now. Okay, so let's
how
adjust.
How much is 2? Phaser type 2 then?
Phaser type 2 is 3 damage.
Oh,
nice. Okay, so let's just adjust our character sheets for that. That makes a fuck of a lot more sense. I'm like, this is going to be insane.
Unarmed strikes are only 1, so you should reduce it down to 1 because you probably have unarmed strike too.
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
So Kevin, I did a lot more damage than I should have. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm
take
going to
me-
adjust. So what? And you also took a lot more than what you should
That's
have
true.
as well, too.
That's true.
That first shot on you was not as much as it should have been. The one onto Pralvo, let's give you back 4 of your stress.
Wait, just to be clear, Kev, I'm changing the number in the box down by whatever my security number is.
By the damage. No. You're changing the damage on the phaser. That's it.
Right. Yeah, but I'm decreasing it by whatever my security number is.
Or I mean, what? Or you,
Just
yes,
decrease
that's
it to
correct.
2.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
make
and
them
these are.
strike
If you
one.
got a phaser type 1, it's going to do 2 points damage. Phaser type 2 does 3. That
Right.
makes a lot more sense. Okay.
It's going to add the.
It's confusing because the starter set rule book, it does tell you expressly to add the security rating to it as well, but it doesn't tell you that's already included in the characters.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So, okay. But so then, yes, all right. This is going to be a lot more fun than what I expected. All right. So then, let's see here. Would you kindly click on Lieutenant Jang? Click on your phaser type 1 damage again.
Yep.
And let's see which. There we go. Okay, so it's
3.
3 points of damage. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, Star Trek got brutal there for a second.
I know. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like
Star Trek is kind of brutal with them. They've got with vicious and like 3 or 4 damage. They're going to be shooting a lot better than we are.
Yeah.
I want one of them disruptor rifles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so which brings up. So there are. We don't have them in this adventure, but there are sort of like meta values that also come into play, which are your directives.
Mhm.
So there's of course the prime directive, which is don't interfere with a non-developed species like before their time. But there are also mission directives as well that you can set, and then you can choose to use those as a team to be gaining determination to whatever else to challenge them.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so then this is going to be a lot less bloodier and a lot more fun than I thought. Okay, so you tag one of these guys. I'm not spending anything to reduce that. Then back to one of the Romulusnas.
So Kevin, did I take the same amount of stress? Do you want to?
You did, because I rolled that before I
Okay.
rolled the other stuff.
Very good.
Yeah, I just rolled quite well in that one. So I'm
good.
spending some threat here and shoots. Oh, I got a complication. Interesting. 1, 2. I'm going to have to buy that complication off with heat or threat. 1, 2, 3 hits. Okay, so we got 1 momentum. I don't know who I'm hitting here. Let's see here. I'll roll randomly. To Prowl again. Prowl,
Oh no.
they like you.
Well, I did have a whole burst of phaser fire towards him. So
Yeah. All
I
right.
mean,
so here-
Romulans may not like medics too. They may just hate those guys.
they
you
do
know?
not care for I mean, they have a complicated relationship with Vulcans as well, too. Romulans are originally from Vulcan. They are settlers that went out from Vulcan thousands and thousands of years ago and then developed into their own subspecies. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So they're sort of like Americans complaining about the British.
Kind of. If you're saying that us North Americans are genetically distinct from you.
Separated by language only.
Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You take 6 points of stress there to Prowl.
So help me understand. That's going to put me over. So I'm going to be out of the fight either way,
Yes.
right? Is it? I guess what I'm wondering is it worth giving you the threat so that I am out of the fight and just fleeing, or out of the fight and injured? How does the injuries work?
So I'm curious of whether injuries need to be treated. Like you need to be it's something that has to happen in like a separate scene. I know that. But I'm wondering whether the wound thing oh, you've already used avoid an injury so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that the so actually it's kind of a moot point. You're taking both you're taking an injury and you're down right now.
Oh, I can't just do it again?
No, it's only once per scene that you can do that.
Oh, okay. So I am full stress and injured. Is there like specific injuries? What should I write on the character sheet under injury?
Isn't there a thing to tick on injury?
There's not a tick. It's a text box.
Oh, okay.
Is it just one injury, or do I describe?
Yeah,
it
just for now, we'll call it one injury.
Okay.
I don't really remember. Here we go.
I can't type into mine. Are you able to type into yours, Arlen?
There's a cog that appears if you hover over at the top right.
Oh, so this is, guys, so here's something interesting. Characters may obtain the ability to avoid an injury additional times during a scene by succeeding at a recover task. A successful task allows the character to gain one additional chance to avoid an injury for that scene. The character may not stockpile extra chances. So that's, I guess, kind of like you collecting yourself behind, it's that scene where someone's ducked behind cover and there's disruptor fire going above them and they're just kind of like trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, but I couldn't have done that because I already took my turn and then got shot twice in between my turns. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter for T'Prel.
But I'm saying for the benefit of.
But yeah, for the benefit of everybody else, yes.
Yeah, because that's a cool it's a cool mechanic. All right, and then the injury. I don't know what it is. Arlen must really, really like death and injury rules because I'm constantly looking them up.
Here, why don't I look them up and you guys keep?
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so then
open.
Okay, so I've done that. So that's another Romulan who has gone. Guys, who we got left? Who's left to go here? Del, you're left to go. Aren't you?
I haven't gone. Now, I just want to clarify something. End of last session, I used my ability called Joined. And I said I had a symbiote who had experience with small weapons fire or whatever.
You'll still have that focus.
So does that keep? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's normally you can do it and last for a scene, I believe. You have to take a look at your character sheet for it. I think it's only a scene, but this has been a soon enough timing for it that I'll let you still gain that benefit.
Right. Yeah, they call it the remainder of the scene.
Yeah. So that's fine.
Okay. So I'll just keep focus checked.
Okay. And what are you doing? Now, what things you could do, guys, is like you could, say make your, aim and fire, and then you could spend give me what do you call it? Threat to then like run for cover and like, get behind a wall or something like that.
Right, but what I was thinking I need to do is try and get some cover for Lieutenant T'Prel.
T'Prel, okay.
And help her out of there.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm gonna fire and help her to get out of the room. So what's the task roll? Is just starts at 2 unless I give you more? Yeah,
so so the dice pool is 2, and let me help me understand what you're doing here. Because your action is, I think you can only do one action per turn. So if your action is to try and drag T'Prel out of the way, that's going to be your action.
Oh, I see. I can't shoot my gun down the hall at the same time.
Oh,
no.
So injury, it looks like to me, this is under the first aid. I'll just read out what it says under first aid. The character attempts to stabilize an injured character within reach. This is a daring plus medicine task with a difficulty 1. Success means that the injured character is stabilized and will not die at the end of the scene, but they remain incapacitated. So I think injury means that I am dying.
Yeah, it's a nasty hit, I guess.
Okay, so, I can move and shoot, though.
You can move and shoot, yeah.
Okay. So I can move over here so that they can't shoot T'Prel anymore.
If you're using yourself as a body, yeah, I mean, that technically means that they're shooting you then.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can still do that and fire.
Yes, you can, yeah.
Okay.
They're firing lethal, right?
They are, yeah.
Okay, so I have it's important to make a distinction between lethal and non-lethal injuries.
Okay. Oh, is that maybe that's why there's
that's why it's got a text box instead of it doesn't have like a table to roll on or something.
No, these guys are Romulan soldiers on a Starfleet vessel. So for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
So I should have the task roll set to 2.
You should, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Oh, gross.
Oh, and a complication.
Seriously?
Tough situation.
You know what I'm going to say is you go scrambling over there, and in your hurry to sort of like duck next to her, you actually kind of stumble and fall down. Okay. So you're kind of on your side, firing prone. You are in the way of Lieutenant Prowl, but you're prone now, which means to move again, you have to spend an action to get up.
Okay.
Okay. So that's Dell's gone. I got one more Romulan to go. I'm going to spend a momentum they seem like they've got the initiative, or feel it. They've got the initiative now. So he's running forward, and then he's going to fire at. Well, Zhang's actually hit somebody, so maybe I'll fire at Zhang. And you're prone, so I'll give them to make it one more harder for them to hit. Let's get a threat here. Let's see here. Oh, they actually miss. So he fires over and hits the wall behind you. I think that's the end of the round, guys. So everyone, unmark your tokens.
Okay.
Yeah, they hit the desk. I'm okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, a question. So are you unconscious? Does it say anything about spending momentum to get you up again there to Pro?
If you succeed at the first aid task and there's a 2 momentum spend that you can do to get me back up and fighting.
Okay, so that's good to know.
You have to actually succeed at the first aid test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that one called?
First aid, daring, and medicine. Whereas it's in the paragraph under first aid. It's not.
Yeah, I'm looking at my cheat sheet here. I'm trying to see what because if it is an enemy, I want to know whether you guys can use threat to pay for that or not, or whether you need a momentum pool.
It's on page 174 and it doesn't say, and I don't see it anywhere else.
Okay, 174. All right, so guys, you guys are up first. Heroes get to go first in this. What do you want to do? Who wants to go first?
Would I be able to crawl over and try and give first aid in one round?
Okay, so there's the answer. Sorry, James. The character may spend 2 momentum from this to get the patient back. So it's got to be from that dice.
So
result.
It's got to be from the one roll. So you need 3
so the
successes.
2d20 system makes a bit of a weird distinction that's not always clear between immediate momentum that's generated from the dice roll and momentum that comes from the momentum pool or for the thing from the from threat. So like there's certain things you can do to build dice pool beforehand, right? That is not that are immediate spends. And then there are things that can only come from the results. So it's to get around like rolling 2 dice and then saying, okay, I'm going to roll 1 more. I'll take a heat. I'll roll again. Take a heat. I'll roll again.
Well, then it makes sense because then you have to actually decide to spend the momentum out of the pool and have a chance of losing it instead of just being like, well, I have 6 momentum in the pool, so I'm just going to try to succeed at the task and then spend all of that momentum.
Yeah. So there is 1 momentum sitting in the pool right now, just for everyone, FYI.
And does that go down every round? Or no?
End of scene. It goes down.
Scene.
Yeah, it's much more forgiving than Conan.
Got it.
Okay. So who wants to go first then, guys? We got T'Prell is down with a pretty nasty disruptor burn in her shoulder.
I'm tempted. What can I do to? I think we've already discussed this a little bit, but what can I do to make it more difficult for everyone to be shot at? Is there anything? So laying down fire. I know we kind of touched on this.
So that would be So it's a good question, and it's a good opportunity to really highlight again. Like one way this game differs from some other ones is you guys can be really creative with what you want to do, and we can just try and figure out what the dice thing would be.
Yep.
So for you, I mean, if all you're doing is trying to
lay down fire, cover fire,
exclusively what you want to do, and not do damage, I'll probably make that a difficulty 1 task, and then you can spend momentum. If you generate 2 momentum, you can create. Well, here's the thing. So if you generate 1, you can make it 1 more difficult for one of the Romulans. If you get 2, you can create a complication. So you could say like blast. There's like mist or some kind of cloud.
Maybe the doors right there start opening and closing or something. The doors in between us.
Yeah, to distract. Sure.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, what I was going to do is have sparks fly out if I had generated enough stuff, so it could be that. And the difference being for those two things is one of them, like the 1 point momentum spend, makes it a little more difficult for one target, whereas the other thing creates a new trait in the scene effectively. They can then spend momentum or heat to try and deal with it.
Yep.
But it does create a complication for them.
And that comes out of the immediate. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Can I just shout, shut the door?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Shut the damn door.
Lieutenant, see, that's why you're a lieutenant commander. That's that kind of leadership.
That's officer level thinking.
That's officer level thinking. You're going far. That's a great call. You know, I am good. I hear that from behind me and go, and reach for the buttons.
Let me quickly point out one more thing too, guys, just because we talked about how you generate determination and what you need to be able to spend determination. Let's quickly remind ourselves what happens when you spend determination. It counts as one of your maximum 5 dice that you can roll in a dice pool, but it is assumed you rolled a natural 1, which means it automatically generates 2 successes.
And I've forgotten from last time, are we able to give each other determination, or is it attached to the character?
You can, if it. I don't know rules is written. I would absolutely let that happen if it fits with your value.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to. I am gonna try to close the door. I mean, I'm right there, so I think I'm gonna. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so here's the one of the traits that's active right now is your what do you call it? No power.
Okay.
Right, but what you could do instead is, I think, a fitness plus I think plus engineering. Yeah. Would you know, you could try and throw her back into it and try and slam that thing shut.
Yep.
That might give you
looking at my talents. Let's see if there's anything to do.
Your focuses, you mean?
Well,
the talents.
You know, to see if anything applies here as I get to know my character here. See if
the talents are pretty darn cool.
They are.
Yeah,
and they're kind of diverse. So I don't know them yet. So let's see. I'm taking it quickly. I think.
Oh man, close protection is pretty fucking cool. When you make a successful attack, you can spend 1 momentum to increase the difficulty of targeting an ally by 1. That's effectively a talent that does exactly what you were kind of looking for.
Yeah. I mean, well, I definitely want to try to close the door.
We also, looking at my talents, it really sucks that I'm the one that got injured because I have a talent specifically for getting injured people back up.
Those Romulans, they knew.
They know. How did they know?
How do they know?
All right, so Zaraf, what are you going to do here?
I'm going to try to close the door. That is my primary.
Okay.
Now, if there's any way, I'm not sure about this, so I'm just going to throw this out there. If there's any way to, since I'm up there, so narratively, I'm up there fooling with the control, or I guess no, I'm trying to pull the doors closed.
Yeah, you're physically like.
So that might work into the close protection. I don't know if I can, you know, well, you tell me, but you know, if the close protection.
No, that's from an attack.
Okay, never mind. Yeah. So I'm just going to try to get those doors closed.
Okay, so then you're starting with a dice pool of 2. There's 1 point in the momentum pool you could draw from, and you could give me up to 2 extra points to get 2 extra dice.
This is a big deal. I think I'm going to go all out on this because those doors close and good things happen for us. So I'm going to spin the momentum out of the pool.
Okay.
Now I know the next die costs 2, right? I'd have to give you 2 threat for the next one. Is that correct?
You would have to give me 2
to get a second die.
That's right. Yep.
And do I know the difficulty I'm looking at?
The difficulty is hold on, I can tell you. The difficulty of this is, I think it's 2.
The Romulans have already got about 50 threats, so no harm.
Right, they're approaching triple digits.
This is actually a 3.
Yeah, I was worried about that. I wondered. Oh, and if I do get a complication, since I'm standing in the middle of the firefight, that writes itself right there. But anyway, putting that aside for the moment, yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you 2 more threat. I need for 3 difficulty, and given the stakes of getting the doors closed.
Forgive me, one more thing. It's actually security.
Okay.
It's fitness. I'm looking at one of the earlier tasks where they did fitness and security at 3. whenever you attempt a task with security, you can, and you buy more than one dice by adding to threat, you may re-roll a single dice in your pool. That's your bold talent.
Yes, excellent.
So if you're giving the 2 more threat, that means you can re-roll.
Yeah, you have 4 and can re-roll one of them.
Yeah, you can re-roll one of them. That's right. So you can roll 5 dice then.
Let's see.
Do you have a focus that you think might apply?
Let me see. Focus. Well, fearless. I'm standing in the middle of the thing trying to pull the doors closed.
I'd absolutely buy that. Yeah. If she's grabbing both and like, and pulling it shut as disruptor things, that totally fits for me.
My only last thought here is whether to actually go all out and to try to pull my 1 point of determination in here. It's close. It's pretty big.
For being rash and reckless?
I'm going to do it. Yeah. So I'm going to jump in the middle of the firefight. Okay. So then, rash and reckless.
That means you're going to roll 4 dice. I've taken one of my threat out because their determination does count as 1. You've already got 2 successes. So you just need 1 more now with 4 dice.
Yes. Okay. Cool. I don't know how to turn that determination on, but I'll figure it out later. Okay. So 4 dice, right? 4 dice. And focus is used.
Here we go.
All right.
Let's get a fat momentum pool going here.
Seriously. There we go.
Oh, nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's 1, 2, 3. Your momentum pool is now 3.
Yes.
Excellent.
No complications. I get the doors closed.
Nice. So pull them shut. And you can hear there's you can hear the sound of disruptor bolts hitting the far side of this. So that was your action. You could still do a minor action as well too, like say to move, to like run over to where everyone else is.
Yeah, I'm gonna do.
What do you think, guys?
Is there anything? I guess I only other thought I have is to secure the doors.
That would be an action. That's not a minor.
Yeah, too much. Got it.
Like what is as an example of what a minor action could be? A minor action is something in combat, at least. It's like aim, draw an item, drop prone, interact with an object, move like basically one area to separate me in medium range, prepare, or stand.
I think I am going to take my minor action to. I'm going to stay near the doors. I mean, they've got it. There's 2 back there with the injured lieutenant. So I'm going to stay near the threat. I'm going to stay up here by the doors.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is 1 that's gone. You guys can't see what's going on the far side of the barrier. But who wants to go next?
Now, again, is Lieutenant Dupre conscious or unconscious?
Unconscious right now.
Unconscious and dying. I need a daring plus medicine check from somebody to not die.
Yeah.
I better do that then.
Oh, Jeff, you might be muted. I saw your lips move, but...
Oh, no, I was just thinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, out of Zhang and Dell, who has the best medicine?
I've got slightly better, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, and you do have...
in my medicine.
I've got 3 momentum.
Yeah, there's 3 momentum in the momentum pool, too. For those listening at home, too, this is our second time playing this game as well, too. So if the game seems really cumbersome and whatnot, this is a virtue of us learning the game. This isn't how it would typically play.
Yeah.
Okay. And plus knowing your crewmates as well, too. Okay, so then who do you think? Zhang, are you going to make that check?
I'm going to do it, and I'm going to say, I know how to fly a shuttle. I've never done first aid, but there's always something to learn.
Nice. Okay, so let's think this through first. So it'll cost you you're short at you were prone, so it's going to be a minor action to get up. It'll be a minor action to move over to her.
Yep.
Right. You know what? I think moving in the same area, because it costs you a minor action to move to a medium range, which is like the next zone. I think it's free to move over to her. So I changed my mind. I think that doesn't cost you anything. So you're able to get up and then run over to her. And now your standard action is to try and do that. Now, remember, guys, if you one of the ways to get above the 5-point max is for someone to aid. You can roll 1 dice.
Maybe I could help you.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And I think I'm determined to succeed in this.
Oh, it's determined. So, which of your values is this?
This is always something to learn. How to say.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
How
before.
to learn.
I'm a fucking dummy. I have no soul of artistry whatsoever. You totally tried to telegraph that, and I was like, what a terrible DM. Okay, so then let's see here. We've got Del. Let's roll your help first. So you can roll 1 dice against your daring and medicine.
So 1. Let's see here, daring medicine. Come on, task help.
There we go.
Oh,
so it's 0 so far. It's a task 2, right?
It's a difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1. Okay, so we need 3 successes in total in order to get to Prowl back up and moving again. All right. So then there's 3 more. Are you using all the momentum pool there? Well, actually, if you're using determination, you can only use 2 because it counts as one of your dice.
No, because the second one costs 2. So it'll cost all 3 to add 2 dice.
Oh, right. Yeah. Thanks. I keep thinking in Conan prices. Hyperborean prices, as it is. Or Hyborean, not Hyperborean. Okay, so, whoopsies. So that is going in. So you're now rolling 4 dice. We know you've got 2 successes already. You just need 1 more.
4 dice, and it's which and medicine?
Daring and medicine.
Daring and medicine. 4 dice. Complication range is just 1.
1, yep. Here we go.
Oh, Jeff.
All right. So you head over there and you start there's a hypo that you grab something from T'Prell's belt, apply a hypo to her. T'Prell, what happens as you sort of come to?
T'Prell is still sitting at 11 stress and was dying just recently. So I think T'Prell is going to do her best to run.
Okay, well, you're prone right now. I don't think you're going to act this round.
Okay.
We don't necessarily need to go round by round unless you guys are planning on letting the doors come open and fight these Romulans again. You guys may want to.
Okay, but specifically, T'Prell is going to be hopping up and running back to the shuttle unless somebody grabs her.
Oh man! So she starts trying to run away.
I'm not there, or at least I'm not right there.
Is this something like a trait that you're trying to play up to T'Prell?
So what I'm thinking, I'm not necessarily trying to play up a trait, although I think hesitation is as bad as inaction kind of fits into this, that T'Prell is not going to wait around and see what's happening. It's time to
go.
Get out of here.
Okay, let's just pause for a second and talk about Star Trek. So the people who are part of Starfleet are the best of the best of the best. Right, like you're playing hyper competent characters who have gone through years of training and whatever else. You're not like a standard adventuring party to who whatever.
No, I am aware. What I'm thinking long term is we need to get off the ship and come back with reinforcements. Not
right, but then would you really just race off without telling anyone what you're doing? Or would you work with your teammates to explain? Like,
okay, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, it's just remember.
So
you're
then,
part of
how do I reflect having full stress in this? Because my stress doesn't go away until the end of the scene, right?
But that's true. But stress doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily act in. She's also a Vulcan, and Vulcans suppress emotions, right?
Well, so how about this? Can I? So I have a talent that allows me to lower the difficulty of resisting pain. Can I make a roll to resist pain at no cost because it's lower difficulty or something?
Well, again, like I don't see, just because you've got first off, Vulcans are traditionally in the fiction they constantly they say, oh, these are the species that doesn't display emotions, and they routinely every fucking episode is like, oh my god, now they're displaying emotions, how strange. Oh my god, they're doing it again, how strange. But the fiction tells us that they're supposed to be non-emotional.
No. What I'm specifically saying is, instead of running away, it might make as much sense to try to hunker against and kind of grit my teeth and.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you don't need to make a roll for that.
But I would like to generate momentum.
No, you can't do that.
Okay, that's fine.
No, that's too much work in the system, and there's no consequence to failure. That's why you can't do that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So no, okay, so you are up and you are active again. So what is T'Pral saying?
We need to get out of here. 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 And
okay, again, look,
nope.
The thing is, remember what you're like, read what Kolinar, you've undergone the ritual journey to purge emotion.
Okay.
Okay. Like I know you're not familiar with, things, and I want you to play your character the way you play it. The thing is that that's a signature thing about the Vulcans. They're not emotional. So they would not be panicking just because they got shot.
Okay.
Right. So what do you think? Well, what you can do though is, I mean, one of the fun things they do with Vulcans in the fiction is they counterpoint that stuff, like her getting up when she's obviously near death and whatnot, and saying something like, perhaps a tactical retreat might be in order, Lieutenant Commander.
So that's what I'm thinking, is to say something like, it would be logical to engage in a situation where we have a more advantageous position.
Yeah. And you know what, like her going through that and her, her reaction being so calm while everyone else is no doubt freaking out. That's where the real contrast of your character comes in.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. No, I'm happy with that.
Okay. So then, T'Pral is up. What do Del and Zhang say? So T'Pral is up.
Okay, let's get back through the door.
Well, we need to. Okay, he says you guys start to make a retreat. I'll get some cover for Zarath.
Okay.
So I'll do some cover fire so that Zarath can retreat.
So what, Del? One. Because you're the engineer, I'll remind you something here. There's no power, which means that the hangar doors won't open.
But we spent momentum to keep them open.
No.
To get out of the ship.
Oh,
right. Yeah. Like you need power in order to get the hangar bay doors open.
Right.
I think it's a stellar cartography moment.
Well, what you guys, this is a big enough ship, like, and I don't say you necessarily need to go there, but you guys, the fun thing about this game, you guys can feel free to go where the fuck you want. You can come up with inventive strategies and whatever else, and try and I don't disagree that like retreating and regrouping is not a bad idea. But what do you think? So T'Pral has suggested we'll get back to the ship. Del, you realize, well, fuck, there's no power.
I yell back, bad time to press the attack then?
Right. Maybe we should regroup in the medical bay.
I mean, that's another thing we could try to do. The ship has no power, so.
Do you need is T'Pral's injury obvious? So you can look at him and think he's in bad shape. She's in bad shape.
Yeah.
Very well. Maybe we can get something to work in the medical bay.
Good idea. But first, let's jam that door.
Indeed.
So can I move forward to the door to try and
jam it? Yep. You can rework your phaser settings and just like basically weld the things together. Though Del might be better at that.
Okay.
I'm only going to give it. It's an engineering plus control against difficulty 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, let's see. You would tell me to go do that.
Yep. Yeah, go weld that door shut.
Nice. Yeah, weld the door shut. I'm on it.
Here, there's disruptor shots that are hitting on the far side of the door.
Just wanted to see if I had any focuses that helped. Can you do it this time? Yes.
Nice.
Wait, you only roll one dice though.
You get a second one.
Yeah, click on it again.
I'll just click on it again.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Nice too. So I mean, so you got one momentum, but then at the end of the scene, it'll go away.
Unless there's something we can spend it on right now.
What about?
Yeah, because you guys are going to get rid of your stress. So you get up there, Del, and you weld that thing shut so it will not be opening again. And then what do we do, guys? Is everyone kind of running off deeper into the ship?
Is there anything we can spend that momentum on before it goes away that would make any sense?
The one that seems obvious is maybe obtain information somehow.
Either that or just something creative, like the weld is stronger. But the information would be great. Whatever.
Well, I think the weld is stronger would cost 2 because that would be creating a problem for them to unweld the door.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's effectively what I've had. The task result has created a trait for them now that's a door that's welded shut, so they would need to get past that.
Yeah. So I think it costs us 2 to make it a stronger weld, but it would cost us 1 to do and obtain information if we can think of something that would be useful to know.
Yeah. Can you think of anything, guys?
For that momentum, information-wise, you mean?
Yeah, I can't think of anything that.
I mean, only if our experience, if our character's experience versus our players would lend itself, given that we've run into these Romulans. If there's anything you can impart that our characters would make an inference that they would know that we wouldn't.
Yeah. So you know that you have. I mean, you saw disruptor bolts from beforehand, and I can't remember if you guys had inferred enough information that there was actually Romulan tactics versus like Klingons or Ferengi that use disruptors. You did, okay. So I don't know if there's much more.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think what you can tell is that although this is likely obvious, the uniforms match the uniforms of the Romulan Star, the Romulan Star Navy. So it wouldn't. These aren't like pirates or bandits or something like that. These are part of the proper forces of the Romulans. The more the disruptor bolts are hitting against the door. You guys gonna get GTFO?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get out.
Okay. So then, anyone with stress, you can clear it, and you guys go racing off elsewhere in the ship. So as you're running along, kind of keeping your eye back. What are we doing next here, guys? What's
Well, first thing is, once we go through this door, I'll weld that one shut as well.
Okay.
So what's that?
Are we able to communicate with our own ship or no?
No.
No. There's some kind of subspace interference that's preventing transporting and preventing communication.
Blasted.
Even your comms units are not, not able to communicate with each other. Your tricorders, the scans are restricted to basically arm's reach.
So being a Starfleet ship that we're very familiar with, as far as Starfleet ships in general.
You guys have basically blueprints available for this particular type of vessel. Okay. This is an Oberth class vessel, but you're not this is not. You serve on a Galaxy class.
Yeah. And I was just wondering. But we do have a blueprint. You said. Yep.
So sort of where.
Maybe we hit medical bay.
Yeah, I agree. Medical bay is the way to go.
We'll see if we can get something to work that will help to pro.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So guys, I am going to spend momentum to make a complication. There are more Romulans that are now patrolling these decks, trying to get to you. But what I'm going to do is, rather than just jump into a combat situation, we're going to deal with it as kind of like an abstracted thing. I'm assuming you don't want to get into another scrap with these things. How are you? I guess I don't want to say that for you. If you want to get to another fight, we can do that. If you want to try and avoid them, we'll talk through how you're going to do that. What do you think?
I mean, I would suggest. Go ahead.
I'm wondering, we look at the blueprints. Are there any crawlways? Because I remember in the old ships, you used to be able to go up and through the ducts and such like.
Those would be the Jeffries tubes.
Aha.
Yeah.
I feel I could fit in a Jeffries tube right now.
Yeah. And I think, as an interesting bit of trivia, I think the Jeffries tubes was named after one of the production artists on the original series.
Nice.
Yeah.
More geekery.
Yeah. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's lurking around on the top of my, somewhere in my brain. So I think that's what the names came from. So, so let's do this then. So, if what you want to do is try and work your way around these guys through the Jeffries tubes, I think that's going to be a reason and engineering check. Let's take advantage of your memory of where they go and how to avoid them. So who wants to make that roll?
I think that's the engineer's job to lead us through these engineering.
And saying it was your idea, so why don't you give me a reason and engineering help check? Because you suggested it. So one
By
dice for you.
coincidence, Han or Del is very good at those two things. So
Yeah, I am very good at those things.
And
Reason
so James
and
rolls one
engineering.
die. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so James rolls one die, and then if he gets a success on it, or however many successes, that contributes to Dell's successes as well.
Okay, let me try that one.
But James's successes only count
Nice.
if Dell is successful in his rolls.
That's right.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Dell, what are you
Nice.
doing? Now, what we're doing, guys, this is going to be an extended task. This is one of the fun ways we can model like narrative scenes like this.
Mhm.
Is there's going to be a series of successes that you need to generate. So currently, Dell, you are sitting at 2 dice and you got 1 success. Do you have a focus that applies?
Yeah, I'm just checking through that. I don't think so. Not specifically.
Okay.
But whenever you... I have in the nick of time, whenever you succeed at an engineering or science task that is part of an extended task,
Yeah.
you may ignore up to 2 resistance for every effect rolled.
So that is pretty awesome. So what this, the way the extended tasks work is they have resistance, which kind of represents the threshold difficulty of each of the tasks. So if and effectively think of it like armor, it reduces the number of successes that you generate. So, and this is absolutely something where you were using this on an extended task. So let me see here. I'm looking at, sorry, the rule book from the Quick Start. Oh, and it's in there. Awesome. Well, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead and make your check. Now, do you want to give me any threat to increase your dice pool, or?
I don't think I need to.
Yeah.
We'll try.
Because I guess here's the thing: is the more you gain, the more successes you gain, the faster you're going to make your way past these. Like, it's not going to be a single task. This is going to be representing you guys making your way across the ship.
Right. Well, let's do the first roll.
Okay.
Nice.
2.
There
Okay.
you go.
So you got 3 successes in total. Let me check here.
Excuse me.
So now this is where we can use those extra successes as momentum to roll another dice.
You can dump it into that, or you can use it as part of your success. Because on an extended test, it's like net successes.
Yeah.
You're building them up. So there's 3 things you have. There's the work, which is a work track, like how many successes you get. Resistance, some things that are arduous to overcome, and I'm going to set the resistance on this at their security rating. So their discipline is going to be the thing that is the resistance against it. You guys have gained some, so you're making your way towards medical, and you are avoiding them. So you can picture in the fiction, we see them, you see the last little bit of your boots kind of going up into the thing as the Romulan patrol comes around the corner. But because of your ability there, Dell, I'm going to I reduce their resistance by 2, which means that you actually have 3. You guys are nearly there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So now, so you've used that. What's the next thing we're going to try, guys? What do you think you would? What's the next kind of scene we're going to see that is you guys making your way closer towards medical? Zarath and T'Pral, you haven't done anything in this task yet. Anything you want to add? What are you thinking?
I'd probably be last in the Jeffrey tubes, just for like covering, wanting to be nearest the enemy most of the time, and I guess just also trying to find our way, because now it might be a little more complicated in these tubes versus hallways.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Dell seems pretty confident. He's like, this way.
Excellent.
And like, have you ever served in a vessel like this?
Yeah, Lieutenant, do you know where you're going?
Yes. So, well, the Old Berth is actually, Jeff, so the Old Berth is an old vessel too. Like, this is something that dates back to the time of like the original motion picture films. So this could be one of your, you may not have served on a Hanor Del may not have served on this, but Androth Del may have served on an Oberth.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
This is an old ship. You ever been on this, Lieutenant?
I haven't, but one of my ancestors has.
And a eyebrow goes up.
So for canon and stuff, the way that you refer to it, Jeff, is actually previous hosts.
Oh, previous hosts.
Yeah,
okay.
like the way that the Trills work is they keep the last name, but they change the first name.
Right.
So like the main character in DS9 is when they introduced this character. Her name was Jadzia Dax at first, and then that host died, and Ezra Dax took over afterwards. And then you also heard about Curzon Dax. That was a previous host. So this is strange, like the host, the symbiote carries on, but they consider themselves a different person with each new bonding.
Mm.
So it wouldn't be an ancestor, it's a previous host.
Yeah,
and you have,
right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a really interesting.
Previous host has been on one of these, served on one of these ships.
Okay. So what do you think, T'Prell or Zarath? You guys have an idea of what you might want to try next?
Well, only that we're hoping to find the grid that will drop into the medical bay.
Yep.
Actually, so as we're going, assumedly that Lieutenant Dell's got this as far as getting us there. But in the meantime, Zarath is going to be using this opportunity as we're going over grids to listen for Romulan activity.
Okay.
And so to try basically, a touch of recon here.
Yeah,
because we're in kind of this good spot where, we're going into areas that we probably wouldn't have gone in because it'd be too difficult. And so we got these we're quietly going over these grids, the open part.
Yep.
So as to not draw attention, but I can also count enemies and see where they are in the ship.
Okay.
So
cool.
That's what Zarath's doing.
Here's what I think. So I think that sounds like a insight and security test.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have a focus that would apply to that?
Well, Starship internal security.
Absolutely. Yeah. T'Prell, is there something you might want to? Can you think of a way you might help with that?
So, I have the focus defensive tactics, so I could be thinking about from their perspective, how are they trying to secure the ship?
Yeah. So you'll help with that and apply your focus to that one dice. I can't remember if you're allowed to apply your focus to a help thing, but we are going to for now. I also fucked something up too. So with the extended task, the way it works is you actually roll the effect dice. So Hanor, and the reason is I want to go back to this is because you guys were talking about using momentum, and I fucked it up. It's not your successes in your momentum in an extended test is separate from the effect. And that's important because things like, it sounds to me, Zarath, and you can correct me if I've got this wrong, is that in addition, you might want to use some momentum that you generate to gather information.
Yes.
Right? Because you could do a momentum spend to learn information.
Yep.
So on top of trying to actually get the success, that's one thing you could do. So Del, why don't you give me, now on the character sheet, there is an option to just roll whatever the
challenge dice. Yeah.
Challenge dice. Yeah. Thanks. Fucking proprietary dice names. Like it just
they got the special names. They got the special symbols.
Oh, it is like FFG Star Wars. I've never referred to them by their proper names. It's blue, purple, black. Like,
yeah.
Come on, Kevin.
So I know Bush League DM here. Why do you not use a glossary to refer to all your dice?
Right.
Challenge is pretty easy to remember though. So why don't we do this then? So I need Del. You rolled. What is your discipline in engineering?
Like the total number?
Yeah, just the discipline. Yeah.
4.
4. Okay. So would you roll 6 challenge dice for me, please?
Okay. So do I just click on this challenge dice thing and put 6
click on 6 in there and then click on that. This is your...
And that's why it said you can ignore resistance for effects rolled.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, what? It said no attribute was found.
hold up. Let's see here.
I have engineering clicked on.
Oh yeah. Okay, so all I did, I just clicked on the symbol next to challenge dice. You see the little Federation symbol?
Yeah.
Swoosh, click on that. There you go.
Oh, that time it worked.
Yeah.
Nice.
I loosened it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what I clicked
One of those
on.
assist rolls, huh?
Okay, so let's see here. I want to check. Okay, that is really cool. I was checking what the base difficulty. Okay, awesome. So I read through the rules for extended task. That was one of the things I was trying to wrap my head around to get a sense of how this works. So there's the work, which is going to be a track of how much work, and what you're rolling is results for your work here, Del. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5. And then this thing would have, I said it had a resistance equal to its security discipline, but your ability allows you to ignore 2 points of resistance when you're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got the full benefit of the 5 for completing this task. And I think the difficulty of this task was only I'll set it as a 2, which means you had 1 net momentum as well. So what you could do is you could spend 1 to get 1 more point of work done. You could spend 1 to ignore 2 points of resistance for it, or you could spend 1 to re-roll any number of the challenge dice. So those are your options, or you could just dump it in the momentum pool and allow Zarath and T'Prel to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I'll leave it in the momentum pool.
Okay. So then Zarath and T'Prel, you guys have access to 1 in the momentum pool.
Okay.
Yeah, so you wanted insight and security for our tactical
for yours,
analysis?
yeah. So one dice for you.
One for me, and Zarath can buy more.
Yeah, and you can go get your momentum or use your focus as well.
Yes.
Okay.
1 success.
1 success. Nice. Okay, so you got 1 success so far, Zarath. You're starting at 2 dice. There's 1 in the momentum pool, and you could potentially spend or give me threat as well.
It's always an interesting thought here. I mean, the only reason really I would I think I'm okay with it with the way it is, except you wonder if I should add so I can, gain more momentum again. That kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Should I give him more threat for this? Is that worth
I don't think you should give him more threat, but I think you should definitely use that momentum.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good call. Use the momentum. Right. I'll buy 1 die with the momentum, Kev.
Okay.
So I'm rolling 3 dice. And I think
I get your focus ticked as well.
Yes. Okay. Then we're good.
Here we go. Boom. 1, 2. Okay.
Okay.
So you got 3 in total. Excellent. All right. So you got 1 momentum you've generated again.
Nice.
Go ahead and give me what is your security discipline?
4.
4. Nice. So roll 6 challenge dice.
All right.
Ooh.
It's good.
2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Decent. Not spectacular, but decent.
Not spectacular, but decent.
So pretty good. Okay, so 5. So right now you got 5. I mentioned the resistance is equal to their security discipline. You've got 1 momentum. You could spend 1 momentum to reduce their resistance, or you could dump it back in the momentum pool, or you could re-roll 1 of your challenge dice.
Oh, and re-rolling is because I'm using security. We're talking about my talent.
No. This is one of the regular momentum spends you could do. Is you can re-roll a damage dice basically. So
you can re-roll as many as you want if you spend momentum. So you could re-roll both of them that didn't have anything to count, but you might as well.
Or you could spend the momentum to get information.
Or you could spend the momentum to get information.
Man,
mathematically, it would be better to spend the momentum on penetration instead of re-rolling.
So the information is,
but information is useful.
Yeah.
And my primary purpose was to recon. What is that going to end up with? Like, how does that differ from information? Would you say?
Well, that's what you're getting. Like you did not like narratively, because you're part of an extended task. We're just like mechanically, what we're doing is generating your task to get yourself closer towards this. I'm picturing you're being careful to listen to where they are and to help, you know, you can picture a moment when you're going through the Jeffries tubes and you're clanking along and you're like, hey, psst, 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 and everyone stops and you hear, you know, a Romulan crew kind of walk underneath them. And then you're like, you know, gesture and for everyone keep going. If you spend a point of momentum to gather information, then what I'd say is that, you know, that's when you stopped, your little antennae kind of, you know, turned and you listened in and happened to overhear something helpful.
Suggestions? What should I do here, you guys? What do you think?
I think information is key.
Okay, so
that's what I would do.
Yep.
Yeah, we're quite in the dark here, literally.
So take the 5 as it is and spend the momentum on information, I guess.
Okay. Excellent. Then, so what we see in that moment is, you know, they're going along and you let, you know, you stop and listen in and you can hear them talking and well, you've got your universal translator on as well. So I think that what you, there's 2 things you hear. You hear a proper name because you recognize all the different, you know, name. It's the one thing that isn't translated through, and the name is Denal. There's a reference to Denal.
Could you spell it for me?
Well,
or man, if we heard it,
there's no, you know, text to speech,
right?
You know,
right.
That's a good guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And do I have any context?
There's not, and you hear a reference to engineering.
Okay. All right. I'll share that after we get to our destination.
Sure. All right. So we've got next phase of the extended action. Who wants to go next? Everyone's gone so far, so now anybody can choose to act right now. What's the next approach we want to try here, guys?
I mean, Lieutenant Dell, I assume you're leading. That's your primary, right? You're trying to get us there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So are we far from the med bay?
What's that?
Are we far from the med bay?
You're pretty close. You're getting very close to the end of the extended task. So what you know, again, you guys can feel free to be as creative. I would look less at your character sheet and more just kind of like try and think of a creative, you know, cinematic kind of thing that might happen, and then we'll figure out how to make that work mechanically.
Right.
So what do you think? What would we see? Matt, picture yourself in this type of scene in a Star Trek TV show or film. What would we next see? We know that they've listened in, and you know, mechanically, I'm not allowing you to use the same thing over and over again. But I think in the fiction, the way it's justified is because it's boring to see you do the same thing. We would want to see the players or the characters do something different. You know, what's the next clever thing that they draw on?
Well, what if the Romulans are blocking our way at some point and we have to create some kind of a distraction to get past them? Like they're actually guarding the door. Like, you know, we're sort of at the medical bay, but there's Romulans right in front of it. So how would we distract them out of the way kind of thing?
Yeah. Okay.
What can we do?
So that's probably, I think, an insight because you're trying to like judge their reaction. I think insight security is probably what I would think that would be.
Okay.
So who wants? How are we doing this? What's the? So here's
good. Yeah.
Let me give you an idea here for how I'm sort of seeing this too. So just because you're aiding does not mean you need to do the same actions. So if we're building on what we've got so far, we know that Zarath knows the name of a commander or whatever else too. Let's say that you guys want to try and cooperate amongst each other. So Del, you want to have like a short, like let's say you want to use your engineering to hotwire a panel in a wall so a voice comes out or something like that. So a noise to distract them. Right. And then you say, Zarath, you know that you want to, you know the name of this person now too. So let's say you just want to shout out in Romulan and say, Darrell says, get to engineering now. Right? That would be, I think you might be the primary on that. And then Del might be able to help with it as well. And then if you guys can come up with any other ways to that's, oh, give me 1 sec, guys.
Speaking of security.
Can't get past Emmylou.
Yeah, my only other thought was some kind of mechanical distraction. So it would involve like an engineering task. I don't know if we're in a good position for that in these Jeffrey tubes, but if we can somehow interact, then the power problem. But anyway,
Yeah,
the thought
power.
was like, have some doors go haywire, or I mean, maybe that doesn't work with the power, but that was my, there was
Right.
some thought of some distraction of like, hey, what's that? That kind of
Calling them away is not a bad one. Like,
yeah.
If you do have the guard's name, let's say.
I mean, I didn't know Denal would be a Romulan name, but apparently, we'd probably recognize that. So I guess that's a safe bet to use that now for a distraction.
I think so.
Barring that, next thought would be, since we can't interact with the ship because of power problems, then we go something super low tech, and plan B would be, the old lean out of a grid, pick a grid around the corner from where they are, and just throw something, so it makes a noise, and then get back up in the tube as they run by, going, "What was that?" And they go running over there, check out, whatever I threw over there, and then we go.
I mean, in. Any which way we do it, I don't see that we're going to have a lot of time in the, medical bay until they're.
We know there's somebody outside the doors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we get it. Okay. Now, do the tubes go into the room?
It's a good question.
Because then we drop in behind the doors.
Right. I mean,
we actually take the guards out, because then it gives us more time. Like, if we just distract them somewhere, they'll be right back, and then we'll have to do something again.
True. That's a good call.
Yeah, maybe we can actually take them out.
I mean, if they're standing outside the medical bay and the doors are closed, there's, I think one of the thoughts is, can we use the medical bay without alerting them? And if so, it's a thought. Otherwise, I mean, I think that your thought, Jeffrey, makes sense too, that we just take them out, make sure they can't radio for sure. That number one, make sure they don't call. But number two, take them out is a good.
And can we combine the two? If we can drop into the room, we can also open the doors behind them and zap them when they won't be expecting it coming from behind.
Yeah, that's a good call. I've got unleash some melee on them.
Sorry about that, guys. Who knew that Canada Post delivered on a Sunday?
Really? You guys are out of control. Nice.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's out of control. So we're going to take our break shortly, because delivery from Paizo just came in.
What?
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so then let's see here. Sorry about that, guys. Last we were talking about your ways you want to try and make use of or get that last little bit of success. What do you think?
Well, we were extending the idea to think that if there's guards here, we'd like to actually take them out, because if we just distract them, they'll be back and there'll be a challenge again.
Sure.
Or, they'll figure out that it was just a distraction to get into the medical bay.
Excellent.
And so we were thinking maybe the Jeffrey's tubes can take us right into the medical bay, and we can open the doors behind them and sort of surprise them and take them out quickly before they can call for help.
Okay.
And sort of pull them then into the medical bay, secure them, whatever.
Okay, so then I think that's going to be daring and security.
Yeah, that sounds like daring security.
Right? Yeah, to get yourself past them. Can anyone think of anything to... first off, who's going to take the lead on that?
I've got a daring of 12. So...
yeah, that's probably you then.
And security's your jam, right? So
yeah, both are my jam. So those are my two number one attributes right there.
Nice.
Attributes and discipline. So
okay.
Well, and I think maybe the assistance might be Dell getting the door open.
Nice.
And I guess I'd better do the other one since the doctor's wounded.
Yeah.
So we're going to here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so here's my thought for building this mechanically. So the actual encounter with the Romulan guards is going to be a separate tactical action, not part of the extended task. To get yourself in there and get yourself positioned is the end of the extended task. That's what this daring roll is going to be. But whatever momentum you generate from this will carry directly over into that next action. And because of the way you described it, I'm going to give you a 1 point free momentum spend, which will be that. So normally I would let 2 of you guys go first, right? So you guys, 2 of you can go. Because of T'Prell's ability, I will then let 3 of you guys act in that tactical action before the Romulan guards act.
Okay.
Nice.
Make sense?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So then we know you are taking the lead on daring there, Zarath. Is anyone helping with this? I'll let one more person help.
Daring and security?
No, but remember, it doesn't have to be that. It can be, it's you think of narratively how you're going to add to this, and then we'll figure out what the stats are afterwards.
Well, so I have this doctor's orders thing to coordinate others. I can use medicine discipline.
Right. And this is where I think like going to the character sheet first and then trying to justify it is the wrong way to approach it.
Wrong way. Okay.
Yeah, and only why, you know what, and this comes from experience with D&D 4th, where I constantly had people who were like, I'm going to use history to help in this dogfight. And I'm like, come on. Like, I want to be flexible here, but like, give me a break.
Well, I'm going to help hold this grate open, and so that Zarath can drop down silently on it. So I'll hold it up.
So you'll be holding
it against the wall.
Yeah, so I'll let you
inside the tube.
You can help with a fitness and security.
Fitness and security.
So make a fitness and security. And if you've got something else you wanted to, like if there's a focus you think would apply, let me know. Otherwise, you go ahead and make your help check, and then Zarath can make the decision of whether he wants to give me any momentum.
And what will I accomplish with this role, Kevin? Exactly.
This is completing the extended task.
Okay.
What we're modeling is what we discussed through was what your approach you wanted to be. It sounds like you guys do want to finish sneaking past this, and I'm making sneaking, daring, and stealth.
So the success of the extended task will result in the subduing of the guards?
No,
it will result in us arriving at the medical bay.
Just arriving.
Safely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a chance to get the guards before the...
Yeah, and then the benefit you're going to get from getting there, because it's such a clever plan, if it works out, whatever momentum you generate on this will carry over. So you'll start the scene without losing the stuff that happens as a normal transition between scenes.
Yep.
And you will, I'm giving you a free momentum spend where you basically 3 of you, thanks to Prowl's ability, 3 of you guys will act before the Romulan guards. There's only 2 guards too. Okay,
very good. Let me see here. Start with 2 dice. We have 1 momentum in the pool.
First up, let's let
okay, good.
Lieutenant Commander Zhang make her
Any chance
roll.
I can use fitness and engineering?
I don't think so, because the like engineering would it's not your raw kind of like physical effort, you know, and the discipline that seems to cover that is security.
Okay.
They suggested in the beginner box that you use that to force a door open. So that's why I think that is security of the different disciplines.
Gotcha.
Fair enough.
So here we go. Nice. 1 success. So you got at least 1 here.
So I pinned the door open.
Excellent. And Zarath, so you got 2 to start with. Do you want to give me any threat?
And do we have 1 in the pool?
There's none in the pool right now.
None in the pool.
Because you spent the momentum you generated last time to get that information.
Got it. Right. Let me see here. Yeah. I'll spend 1. I'll spend 1 to get the 3rd die.
Okay.
And what are advantages again? Like I have a talent, Chief of Security. When aboard the ship, you have the advantage security detachment, which represents the ship.
What that is when you're on your ship,
my ship,
you have access to a crew of guys. So like in a task like this, imagine how much easier it would be if you had other people. You could be like, Ensign so-and-so, activate the distraction over here now.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what that reflects, is you get an advantage, lowers the difficulty by 1.
Perhaps this, my bold talent applies whenever you attempt a task with security and by 1 or more D20 by adding to threat. You may re-roll a single die in your pool.
Yeah, you add that automatic. Yeah, that'll apply. That's not a focus.
Yeah, right. If I had a focus, good question. I mean,
either squad
tactics.
I totally buy that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll
Cool.
apply. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're rolling 3 dice, and you can re-roll one of those d20s because of your bold talent. Nice.
There
1,
we go.
2, 3, 4. All right. So you
Boom.
have 5 successes in total right now. You only needed 1 to succeed. So you are 2. It's 2 to succeed. So you've got 3 that you're sitting on, 3 momentum. Why don't you roll your challenge? What's your security's a 4, right?
Correct.
Roll 6 challenge dice. Let's see if you get the amount you need, and then you can decide what you want to do with your momentum.
I mean, and I think Zeroth is completely in his element right now. So this
Totally.
is, this is like he's dropping through. He's got two bad guys, 2 Romulans
Yeah.
that have already put one of his, people given him an injury. This is what it's all about.
So give me nice. Okay, nice. So you have generated enough to make it. You guys make it into there. Let's dump 3 momentum into the momentum pool.
Sweet.
And come on, you fucking thing. There we go. 3.
Talk to it, Kevin. Talk to it.
I know. All right, so there's 3 in the momentum pool. Now, before we do the let's you guys, we can picture that this hallway you're in, this is where you guys all silently drop behind. So you're in the medical bay now. Is your first priority to take these schmoes out, or is your first priority to?
Yeah, let's just incapacitate them right away.
Then, guys, let's just
The
take
needs of
2
the many
minutes.
outweigh the needs of the few. So yes, we're taking them out.
Nice.
So that's not really. Did you watch Search for Spock or not? Wrath of Khan?
Yeah,
That's where that saying comes from. That's where that comes from.
Mhm.
That wasn't part of the original series. That's something that principle was introduced in that film.
It's one of my values specifically.
No, I'm saying that that's not quite what it means. Instead, let's kick their asses. But listen, let's take a 5-minute break first. So we haven't taken our break yet. I do need to hit the head, so I'll be right back.
Cool.
Now, I just had a bright idea.
What was that?
I'm thinking we want to incapacitate these guys. We're in a med bay. What do you do on sick people in a med bay?
Yeah. Oh
There
man.
must be some anesthetic in this place. There's one of those nice syringes that will. Now, if we could just get some of those and pop them in their backs.
I say we try it. It's a very Star Trek thing to do to take them out that way.
Oh yeah, totally.
And not just shoot them in the back of the head.
Right.
Do you not have your neck pinch, your Vulcan neck pinch?
T'Prell?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see it anywhere
It's not
on.
listed on there. Give me a sec here. So, you want to know what showed up? Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Nice.
Yes, like fucking 10 days early.
Nice. Yeah, I got James, since we were talking about Mithras, my copy came today.
Oh, cool. Very good.
Yeah.
So you're going to give it a go? Or it's a reading exercise for now?
I have been a little bit manic about acquiring D100 based games so that I can read them all and decide which one I want to actually play. So that's what it's for right now. But we'll see which one makes the cut.
Cool.
Oh,
yeah, I ordered a couple Classic Fantasy and the Companion, but it takes forever to get to Amsterdam.
Yeah, I bet.
Geez, yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, I had planned to do work for the rest of the day.
Gone.
That ain't happening now. Oh, man.
Is it pretty?
It's very pretty. Yeah.
It looks huge.
Look at us.
Holy shit.
Oh, Zweihander's got competition.
What'd you get? Oh, wow.
PF2 just showed up. Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome. Cool. I got my afternoon reading now. Pretty awesome. And the first, it's weird, kind of unusually, the Pathfinder 2nd Edition first adventure path book showed up before the last module in the last adventure path. So I guess they're prioritizing getting that stuff out than finishing up their PF1 stuff. But pretty
if you can
fucking
finish that
awesome.
in an afternoon, you're better than I am. That would be impressive.
Well, I mean, like, I'm not going to read every spell and whatnot. So
right.
Okay. Wow. So you guys dropped down, and it sounded like there were some pretty interesting ideas for what to find in here.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Let's talk about what's in here. So first up, in sickbay. So the bodies of Starfleet officers fill the bio beds here. Each shows signs of injuries sustained in combat against the Romulans, disruptor burns, and so forth. The ship's chief medical officer is slumped in his chair, killed by a disruptor blast to the chest. Now, yes, you can. Why don't you do this here? Let's. Would you give me a reason and medicine test, please? And I don't think any of your foci would apply here. But just go and give me that roll there, T'Prell.
T'Prell, no focuses.
Yeah, and you can give me threat if you like too.
I don't need it. 2.
Don't need it. 2, nice. So I'm going to add 2 more. Oh no, I'll add 2. So what you've got is, yes, you're able to get these knockout drugs. Those things are in here. So basically, what they will be is I'll make you. It's gonna be a melee attack to kind of get the hypo on their neck. But once it's injected, it's basically going to knock them out. So why don't you guys? Who's going to be making the attacks on these Romulan guards?
I think I'll be involved.
Oh, and there's no power to the door either. How are you going to get around that, guys?
I would suggest while maybe Lieutenant T'Prell works on the medical equipment, what about Lieutenant Commander Zhang and Lieutenant Dell each take one door and pull them apart?
Okay.
Well, hold on. I have an idea.
Okay.
Ships, a ship like this, the the medical beds or whatever they are would have backup power of some type for like life support systems for people who are in the med bay if power was lost to the ship. Like there would be some kind of a battery or something that we could take out of these med tables that maybe I can use to open the door.
Yeah, that sounds... So why don't you give me an... let's hear. I think that's an reasoning and engineering test, please.
Okay, perfect.
And I think I'll set the difficulty at... we'll start at 2, and then we'll see what... Because what you're doing is you're creating a trait here.
Okay, and I have...
there's 3 momentum in the momentum pool right now.
Okay, so I'll use 1 to add a dice, and I have a focus.
Now, the success of his roll right here won't set this in motion, right? It's not going to open the doors with the roll, will it? Because we probably need to make... I'd probably discuss what do we want to do with these guards first. Do we want to drag them in here, or should we be attacking? What do you think, guys? Do we want to drag them in here? Will that be the first thing?
We were thinking that if the door were open, we would use these syringes to knock them out.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Ooh, and can I do the mind meld thing on unconscious Romulans?
You could, yeah.
Okay. That would be, once I'm better from actually getting shot earlier, that seems like a thing we could do.
So, Kev, do I need to change the complication range?
No, not at all.
Just leave it at 1. Okay.
Yeah, we're not... That's something that is like, it's the raising of stakes as we go along. We're not...
Ooh, 3 successes, but a threat.
Complication.
Yeah.
Lieutenant T'Prell, were you thinking of doing that now, or is that just that's for the future?
That's just for the future, that we could just drag the bodies back in here and tie them up or something.
Okay, so I think what happened is you, as you're hooking the device, you're definitely able to get the device hooked up. You generate 1 momentum, and I'll put that back in the momentum pool for you. Oh, fuck right off, thing. Jesus.
You tell them.
It's so finicky. Like I remember this is why I stopped. I'm gonna put Arlen, you're back in charge of the momentum pool. It's 3 right now.
3?
I'm sick of fiddling around that thing. Yes, 3. Thank you. Okay, so then what happens is you're able to disconnect that thing. You bring it over, you hook it up, and you're ready to activate the doors. So then I need two people are going to be making these tests here. These are going to be what is it? Security and fitness. Security and control, because I think you're specifically trying to hit it to a specific location.
Okay, I guess I'll give it a go.
Okay.
So these are 2 people on the doors specifically, right, Kevin? There was 2 outside the doors, yeah. And you're now that they've got power, you're going to be able to just step out and hit these guys. And 3 of you will be able to act before the Romulans act. Cool. I'll probably, I'm interested.
Okay. So then is anyone taking threat? There's 3 momentum, but you can give me threat as well.
Do we get anything for surprising them?
That's why 3 of you guys are acting.
Okay.
Let's see. Do we know difficulty on this?
The difficulty is going to be 0 because they're not aware of you guys right now.
Well, that probably... Go ahead.
I suggest I need to take at least 1 because I suck at this.
1 momentum or 1 threat?
1 momentum out of the pool already.
Yeah, the most efficient spending is 1 for each instead of anybody taking more, because it costs more if you take more than 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I suggest that I've got confidence in our esteemed security officer, but Lieutenant T'Prell, you may want to back me up if I fumble it.
Let's see. Security and control, you said, right, Kevin?
Yes.
I'm tempted to spend 1. I mean, it is that first die for 1 is always tempting.
Yeah.
And you can build momentum. That's the thing too about these games. You can always get momentum back by taking that extra die. I'm going to do it. Yep. I'll spend 1 momentum from the pool for that 3rd die.
Yep.
I mean, squad tactics for my focus, Kevin.
I know, because there's got to be a situation where it doesn't apply. Like we were talking about this before, like with the foci, because it's too easy to interpret them as applying everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what? And the thing is, with this one, you're coordinating, so I will let it apply, but I just I don't want it to apply every time, right? So because you've got two people who are coordinating with a third person who's going to open the door, I will let it apply for this one.
Gotcha. Yep. All right.
Okay, and go ahead and make
So
your
the doors whoosh open and
nice. Okay. Nice. All right. So both of you, the doors whoosh open, and Dell, you're like, "Hi, it worked." And then you look, and you're like, "Oh shit!" So the fact that this worked, there's a pulse of energy that went through. Someone's going to know that power was restored to this room.
That's our complication.
That's the complication. Yeah. So these guys turn around, are like, "What?" And both of you step forward, and they fall into unconsciousness. You grab them as they're falling and drag them into the sick bay.
Yep.
So what are you guys going to do now?
Close the door.
Close the door.
Yep.
I have been reading and rereading the medical rules to try to figure out exactly how this works. There's nothing that says that I cannot operate on myself, but that seems kind of silly to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What is it you're trying to do here?
Well, we're trying to use the medical bay to heal my lethal injury.
What if it just raised the difficulty? Like he can do it, but it makes it harder.
you can
sorry,
also
the
aid
first
us.
did the first aid not deal with the medical injury?
So if you have a non-lethal injury, then it's gone. If you have a lethal injury, it is still in effect until you get actual serious medical attention. That's why we went to the med bay.
Yeah. So what I'm going to say is that difficulties will be if you're doing it on yourself, difficulties will increase by 2.
Okay. Well, I don't want to do it on myself, but I think that I can, in my eerily calm Vulcan way, start talking through the process with everybody else and say, here's exactly what we need to do to get me better. When I go unconscious from the pain, make sure that you finish the process.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. So I'll let you help with the roll then.
Yes.
Okay. So and that is surgery. So you definitely get your foci on that as well.
Yep. Medicine and reason.
Medicine and reason. Yeah, I buy that.
All right.
Do you want to take anything from the momentum pool?
Nope. Nothing.
Okay. All right. So who is taking the lead on this?
Pain was too much, Lieutenant.
The pain was too much. I just winced in the middle of my explanation and said, you guys have to go before I can finish explaining.
Right.
So I think that well, here, walk us through what's happening then, Arlen, for mechanics-wise.
Mechanics-wise, Teprel is recovered from the stress, so she is in good consciousness kind of emotionally and all of that sort of stuff, but she has a lethal injury that prevents her from doing regular tasks until she recovers from it. Cool. So that's why I think that I think that is supposed to make it so that you can't perform medical aid on yourself if you got shot. So what Teprel is doing is basically lying down on the bed and speaking as quickly and as clearly as possible, but clearly too quickly and not clearly enough, to try to explain, here's exactly what I need you all to do to recover, to help with the medical aid that I need. I'm going to pass out about halfway through from the pain. Make sure you complete it, and here's how you do that. And is just Teprel is not thinking about the fact that none of these people are actually trained medical officers, and is unwilling to slow down and make it easy for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So who is going to be taking? This is going to be a reasoning, or was it reason plus medicine check, right?
Control medicine.
Control medicine. Okay. For surgery.
Well, I'm quite nimble.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nimble with my fingers.
I'm good at reasoning, but not control.
Okay.
I'll try and finish the first aid job I started.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay.
Kevin, let me ask you: do we know that our energy pulse was detected, or are we unaware of that?
You are aware.
Okay.
I think what we'll do is it will. I think like Dell noticed that happened. I think because the power shut down, maybe he just wasn't thinking. He was so focused on restoring power to this, he didn't realize it was going to trigger a basically like a surge through, not a surge like to blow out things, but like enough of a surge to trigger that power had been restored to a certain area.
Yep. Nice.
So then this scene will be the surgery scene. And so
maybe,
it looks like,
actually, Kev, I just want to say something real quick. I think if I noticed that, I would be talking while Lieutenant Commander Zhang is doing the surgery. I think him and Zeroth would be setting up some kind of security, expecting the Romulans to be on their way here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what do you think that would look like?
Well, like, maybe we're setting up something so that when they do force the doors open, we have cover and we can fire on them from cover, and they'll be sort of standing in a doorway.
Okay.
How about welding the doors too, perhaps?
We could try that. I was just thinking if we let them in, but we have a strong point here, maybe we can actually take some of them out.
Yeah. I'm just concerned if there's a lot of them. But yeah, I mean, I'm either way. I like fighting.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now
good call.
I'm going to bump the difficulty up by 1 because there's no power here.
Yep.
So the difficulty is going to be a 3. So Zhang.
Did we gain any momentum from those hand-to-hand attacks? Because we have 1 in the pool right now.
I mean 1. You should have 2 in the momentum pool.
2 in the pool.
1 because it'll drop down 1 from transitioning from the combat scene into the other one. So you got 1 momentum to draw on right now, guys.
Okay.
Tupralis has tried to help with this and unsuccessfully. So Zhang, you've got 1 momentum, which means you can bump it up to. Now let's maybe take a moment and refresh our memories as to what challenging a value is.
Yes.
So if you're challenging a value, what that does is you get a point of determination. If a character has a value which would negatively affect the current task, they may challenge the value, gain 1 determination, and cross out the value. It will be rewritten after the mission. So to bump the difficulty up, it would automatically get you 2 successes on that.
I see.
Zhang, Zhang, is there something you think you could, like always something to learn, right?
Yep.
You could say cross that out. And then, because I mean, what always something to learn, you could maybe think that, well, you could replace it with, master of none. Where like you're trying, you're learning a little bit about a bunch of different things, but you're not really, you're not really mastering all of them. Because getting in over your depth of like, oh, I could, sure, I could figure this out, and then you're like, wait, I'm doing fucking surgery on alien physiology. What?
Yep. Well,
how did I come to this?
Am I out of my depth? Is my new value?
Oh, nice.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, because that could be spin both positive or negative. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to cross that out. I'm going to bump the difficulty to 4, but you've already got 2 automatic successes on it. So you now have 2 successes, and you'll get a new value as well. So
and I'll
2...
take 1 momentum.
Sure. So, and then do you want to take 1 threat as well to get yourself, because you could have a maximum dice size of 4 at this point.
2 threat.
Oh, there's 1 momentum though, isn't there?
Well, he's got 1 momentum to add 1 die.
Right.
2 threat to add another die.
Oh, 2 threat to add another die. Right. The cost. I keep forgetting about that.
Good catch.
Yep.
Okay.
Shall I go for the extra 2? What do you guys think? Or I've got 3 dice to get how many? 2.
2 successes.
And you're not able. Are you able to use a focus or no? Can't remember.
No.
Okay.
Threat is a key part of the game too, like of keeping.
So it's totally okay to.
It's absolutely.
Okay.
There's never.
Let's
It's
do
not.
it. Okay,
Yeah,
we're taking
especially
2
with.
threat.
Okay.
I mean, it feels like we've been crushing you with threat, but that's probably just my perspective.
No, and it's not really, because I've had to, like, every time I roll a complication, I've had to blow stuff, and setting up that extended task, I had to blow some momentum. So
Right on.
yeah,
I'm hoping it's slowing down the Romulans as well, carrying around the big bag of threat,
yeah,
weighing them down.
they're encumbered.
Good
Okay,
call.
so you're rolling 4 dice then.
Yep.
I don't think there's any. Oh, that's good. Okay, so you succeeded.
I'm not sure it's wholly good.
So there is a complication there, though.
Right.
All right. So what happens is you do come to. So you come to, and the surgery is completed, and you feel, I mean, you're feeling right. Your injury is gone.
I feel a however coming.
There is a however. So you guys have the door is now welded shut, right? What was your plan for getting out of here?
Back into the
Jeffrey's tubes?
Jeffrey's tubes, I think.
Okay. Then that complication plus one more. You guys, to Prowl, let's just let this play out. So to Prowl, your eyes open, and you can kind of, and you see Zhang looking a little, what do you call it? A little of surprised, I guess, that things went well. What do you say?
Thank you, Lieutenant Commander. I would have been unable to perform operations on myself, and so it was necessary for you to do so.
That's great. All right. So Del and Zaroth, you see that they're there. Unfortunately, you don't have your what do you call it? Your tricorders, or at least they're not able to scan beyond the door. So you're kind of having to listen to what's outside. So seeing it go up, Zaroth, you're like, all right, let's go. And you pull the grating off of the Jeffrey's tube.
Yeah.
Your little antennae kind of turn. There's Romulans coming through the Jeffrey's tube.
It's like
we'll
aliens.
find out what happens next session.
Oh. And I take
right.
it there's no Starfleet grenades that I've overlooked, right?
Not on you, no. All right, so let's get out of here, and we'll make with the outro. Okay, so for those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for session 2 of our Star Trek Adventures game here. As always, if you have any comments, questions, and I guess first off, also thanks for suffering through us learning the rules. But I think it was. I feel like we got a better handle on the rules after the second session than even we did after the first one.
Yeah.
Well, and even with suffering through the rules, we made a fair bit of progress overall. So it's not it's not like we spent the whole time trying to learn the rules and then couldn't get anything done.
No. And that's I liked the I definitely like the kind of loosey goosey but gives it a good fun mechanical structure to those narrative scenes too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that stuff. So like I would definitely be making use of that in future too.
Yeah.
And combat, like once we figured out what the proper damages were, that felt much more like what Star Trek combat should feel like than that insane like down. That was crazy.
I mean, the only thing I thought of when we were going with the big damages was, I have to say, like on the show, usually someone's shot and goes down. It's not like I took 4 hits.
Yeah. So here's an interesting point. That's an interesting thing to point out, because just like in Fantasy Flight Star Wars, there are different tiers of adversaries in this. Minions. I can't remember what the next one's called. The Nemesis, I think, is the not Star Wars. Whatever they are, but they're the same kind of like Nemesis. Adversary, minion. So the guys you were fighting were effectively equivalent to you guys. Use roughly the same. A little less powerful, but use roughly the same set of rules. Minions are just like in Fantasy Fight, where it's groups of them, and you can like pew, 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 be taking a bunch down. So depending on the scene you were going for, the feel for the encounter, that you could have that stormtrooper feel, or you could have something more dangerous, or you could have a nemesis, which is even scarier. Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed that session. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding this session or the game, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and we will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. Alternatively, you can also reach me on Twitter at Dungeon Musings, or you can shoot me an email at dungeonmusings@gmail.com. And you can also find, if you enjoy the melodious sound of my voice, you can find me on the Dungeon Musings podcast on all of your favorite podcast platforms as well. I think that I will be posting an episode about this particular game in an upcoming way, because it's in a very, very interesting game, and it's got me thinking about a lot of possibilities, with not only with this but with other games as well too. You also may note that there is a link to something called Heroes Save Villages in the description of the video. This is the charity fundraising campaign that we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International charity. It's a really terrific charity, active in over 130 countries, that benefits over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children. Any money that is donated through the campaign goes directly to help the kids who benefit from SOS Children's Villages International. And we don't monetize the channel in any other way. We don't run ads. We don't do Patreon. So if you are inclined to toss any money the way of the channel, you can do it that way. I'm going to be making, by the time of August 1st, I will be making changes to the rewards, or the rewards that are available on there. So there are some, right now there are some neat ones, but at the start of the year, depending on what time that this is recorded, at the start of the year, I will be refreshing the charity games as well. So for a $100 donation, I will run a game for you and your friends, or you and my friends, or whatever, of a game of your selection. So long as I mean, who am I kidding? I'm probably going to buy the game if I don't own it anyway. So. Anyway, it is normally it's a game that I run, but right now for 2019, I've got those games are all gone. But 2020 is right around the corner, which is fucking scary. So there will be a whole refreshed slate of charity games available again. Plus, there's also some smaller rewards to let you interact with the game at the table. But last but not least, I want to thank my intrepid Starfleet players. So, Arlen, James, Jeff, and Sean, thank you so much for playing Star Trek with me today, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
It was awesome. Great. Super fun.
Live long and prosper.
Exactly. That was my outro. So again, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for episode 2. We'll see you back again live in 2 weeks' time. If you want to join us, be sure to click on subscribe and click on that bell icon so you know when we are setting forth into the final frontier again. Until then,